we are here to talk about a topic that is something that maybe you could say that I've been dealing with lately. And what would that be, honey?
Everybody has been dealing with this lately. It's not just you, honey. You're not alone. So what we want to talk to you about today is burnout, okay? Or excessive stress. And maybe that's something that you relate to a little bit more, excessive stress. And so it's not about just how to avoid burnout. It's how do we deal with it once we know that's what we're in.
Well, I think because, of course, we would like to avoid burnout. However, just the season of life, no matter how much diligence you put into like trying to pad yourself from being overwhelmed, like sometimes there's just a lot of crap going on and you get burnout.
Right. And so I think it's a little bit like we can do as much as we can to do the right things, right? And to take care of ourselves the right way. And we're going to talk about some things that help us to avoid burnout in the future. But also, I think it's kind of like, your body. Like we can get our body, let's say like avoiding alcohol, for example. So we can be in a state where we're avoiding alcohol and everything's great and we're sleeping really well, and then something happens that's a little bit out of our control and we start to fall back into bad habits. So we start to increasingly drink a few nights a week, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh man, I'm drinking too much again. It's not, sometimes there's these things that like, we're just not perfect. We're not going to stay in this bubble for the rest of our lives. Once we fix something, we can fall into some bad patterns.
Well, life isn't a bubble. I was talking about this today on the Thursday 30 with Pastor Jim. So this is the second time I've done a video today. As you go through life, you just don't figure things out. You get a grip on things, but life happens. You get knocked off your balance here and there. You have to come back to center. Like there's just no way. Also life would be very boring if it was like I got it all figured out. Now I'm just gonna live. 39. I'm almost 39. You're 39. Like the next, we'll call it 60 years, and just everything's just the same. Like that would be boring.
That's not realistic. So what we're trying to say is it's not realistic to say you can avoid burnout for the rest of your life. I think it's more realistic to say what are the things that we can do and how do we identify that we're in a state of burnout and move ourselves out of them. It's not necessarily what happens to us, but it's how we respond to things, right? So
yes.
This class is going to
So what we really did
that.
was we talked about this because this is really a video for ourselves.
Well, isn't that how it goes, right?
Maybe for me.
You teach from what you experience.
Yeah, or what do I need help in? And then you go and you're like, okay, well, I want to save people from, my fate in some way. So this past month, it was just a tough month for me personally. I think it's been kind of building, but I had a little bit of a breakdown. But I'm okay. I'm still here swinging. And so we were just trying to how do we deal with these things? And we could kind of see
we're going through it, someone else is going through it too.
And I think it's somewhat ubiquitous, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you know you are living with burnout? And the list is a little long, so I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to pretend like I have this memorized. But we did prepare. We did research, and we have prepared a message just for you.
And you will see the list pop up on your screen shortly.
I will find a way to do it somehow. Hopefully it'll be super clever, but it just might be just there. Okay. More fatigue than usual. Changes in diet or sleep patterns. Feelings of apathy or dissatisfaction with work, school, or another commitment. Lack of satisfaction in the work that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And this is referenced from Elisa Nordhay. She's a PhD. And then in 1974, I believe it's another physician, H.J. Freudenberger. He gave another list.
Yeah.
Okay. Unable to recover from the common cold. Frequent headaches, frequent gastrointestinal problems, which is similar. Sleep disturbances, so those are similar. Shortness of breath, irritability, I know nothing about that. Heightened emotional responses, so you're just over emotional, right?
Right.
For me, it'd be
Feeling
more
like you're going to cry at any moment.
yeah. For me, it'd be like, well, maybe that or anger, right?
Yeah.
Suspicious and paranoid about colleagues. A lot of things that we found interesting enough in this was all based around work, but you could apply it everywhere.
Yes.
Substance abuse, stubbornness, rigid thinking, and unwillingness to listen to others, negative attitude, and appears depressed.
Yeah. That's a long list. So this is a
list.
long list for things that people experience when they're in a state of burnout.
Well, I don't know if you have it.
You might not have all these things.
I don't know if you have it later in our notes, but what was the line that you said about depression versus burnout?
So one of the psychologists that we were reading from was saying that what is the difference between depression and burnout? Because they can mimic each other in a lot of ways. Like a lot of these things can be signs of depression as well. And so burnout really is characterized by it's stuck to something. So it's stuck to a work issue. It's stuck to a church issue. It's stuck to a person issue. It's stuck to a relationship.
I love you so much. I never get burned out by you. Never.
No. So, but
it's actually true.
It's actually true. Anyway, so burnout, if you're going to go on vacation, right? Like we want to go on vacation. We want to escape our day to day. And so if you have burnout, and it's not depression, burnout doesn't go with you on vacation. So you can go to Hawaii and take a week and be separated from that thing that is causing you the excessive stress, and you will be able to enjoy your vacation. You will have relief, you'll have reprieve, you'll enjoy yourself.
Right.
If you're truly depressed and
follows
that
you.
Is a medical diagnosis, it's going to come with you on vacation. It's not something you can just leave at the front door when your circumstances change. So that's the difference. If maybe you're experiencing that for yourself, that's definitely something that like, even, like with school for the kids, I think we all start to feel this level of burnout at this time of year, whether you're homeschooled or you're in public school. It's April. There are no more holidays. It's just now to the end of the year. And that is a hard place to be. And you want to escape. The kids don't want to do their work. You don't want to do the work. It's just get me done.
Well, and we were talking about this. If you're a productive person, which most people are, because most people who are, I'm sure actually probably everybody who's listening is a productive adult. Families, jobs, kids, or you're a parent and you're taking care of your kids, which is a full-time job in itself, right? You're not a robot.
Right.
As much as you think you can take on, and our society moves very fast and it's filled with a lot of things, and they can be all good things, but enough dinners and church services and small group and track and taekwondo for us and all this, and it's all great stuff, but you just spread thin.
Well, and like we go through these seasons, like we were talking about, if we never had any lows, we would never know what the highs feel like. It's impossible for us to have everything right and dialed in 100% of the time. Like it's just not, it's a law of nature. That's not possible. And so we are going to have these dips, and it helps us to enjoy the good, right?
So I guess recognize that it is just a season. We're going to help you get through it. All hope is not lost. Just take a break and just know that you're not alone, probably, especially in this specific time, this specific time in history. Notice that it's probably something that's kind of around, and if we can all do this together, we'll heal together too.
Well, we know that because Gallup took a poll in 2020, and when asked if they experienced burnout, 48% of participants...
You have this memorized?
I've memorized it.
Oh my goodness.
48% of participants said they sometimes feel burnout, and 21% of participants reported that they always feel burnt out. So that's a quarter of people in the workplace. You're not alone, and it's a problem.
Yeah, you don't want to feel burnt out all the time, because at some point you're going to crack.
Right.
or your coping mechanisms to deal with it are not going to be healthy.
Right.
Like you can't like
You're going to drink too much wine.
yeah. Or worse. So
Right.
like we need to just try to have some guardrails on these things.
Okay, so
All
that's
right.
a good, well, actually, we can talk about, how did we get into burnout? I was going to say that's a good segue into what do we do about it, but how did we get there in the first place?
You don't want me to read this part?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what we're reading. Okay. I didn't know if you were actually asking me or you wanted me to just read it. Okay. How obviously we went through this we went through it. Like we did the list, but we didn't do a dry run. Okay. How did you get there or causes? Okay. A lot of this is structured within work, but you can apply it.
You can apply it to
anywhere.
other things. Yeah.
Relationships,
Relationships, school, community type of experiences.
Unrealistic work expectations, micromanagement, poor instructions, isolation, lack of support, unfair treatment, mismatched values, perceived lack of control, weren't communicating or you're holding feelings in, not taking enough time for yourself, and no work-life balance. The last one is a little general.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess what I meant when I typed it out was that there is no, like, you're either, all work all the time, like you're not taking time to have fun, to be with your family, to do a hobby.
Like, I know for me, like, variety makes a difference.
Yes.
I just need to break the mold. So even if, my normal is what it is, if I do that on repeat too much and I don't just have like a random day where we, go to Disneyland or whatever we do,
Right.
I start to feel a little crazy because like my day is so predictable. I need just a little bit of variety to feel like I'm experiencing life and not going crazy.
Yeah, and I think sometimes like what we undervalue a lot is our friendships. We forget that like those friendships are so valuable and provide that support in those relationships, and that it's really important to spend time with your friends.
It is like what I can understand, like, unrealistic work expectations. Like for the last little few months, we've had this YouTube channel. We have the YouTube channel for our podcast, started a podcast. It has its own Instagram, which we are realizing like we were trying to, and I did more video stuff. And like my expectations were I could do it all, not even great,
Right.
just decent.
Right.
And really in the end, I probably could do all of it kind of like half-assed.
Well, and so part of that was like another thing that we were learning about was if you're used to like running at 100% all of the time, which is kind of how we both do things, especially me, and then you back off a little bit, but you're like, no, I should be running at 100% all of the time. You're like, I have all these ideas. Let's just do them all and see what happens. And even if someone says, well, maybe we should scale it back and just do one of those ideas.
We did have a friend who said that.
We did. I think we had a couple people maybe that said that. It like goes against so much of our personality that it's really hard to listen. And so then,
Well, because you say like, what are you talking about? Of course I can do it. I'm just going to do it.
it's fine. I feel great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
You don't know me.
You realize, oh, wait a minute, I did bite off more than I could chew. And so again, that's when you end up in this situation and you didn't mean to do it.
Yeah. And I can also, the isolation, because
Right.
you start like, for me, I ended up doing a lot of stuff on the computer by myself alone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not around a lot of people. It helps to be around a lot of people. And it's not that we're not involved in things, but sometimes you just need like I need some like one-on-one time with people to just kind of like let my hair down and be me and say stupid stuff. And then I feel like, okay, I'm not always, then I can just sort of just like have a good time.
Yeah, you're not getting your needs met in some way. And so then that's going to contribute.
Yeah, but it's really more that connection with people
Yeah.
in the guise of having a good time. Doesn't mean like, it just means like joking around or like you have that like genuine connection with somebody. Okay, so how to move out of burnout. So you might be feeling burnt out. And how do you do it?
Right. We don't want to feel burnt out anymore.
Well, we're going to go, where this page is done. You know what we're going to do? We're going to throw it. See how dramatic that is? Okay. So number 1. What is it?
Number 1, recognize you have a problem. So this has helped me in the past when I've struggled with depression. It's when I realized, oh, I'm depressed. Okay, I get it. Now what do I do about it? Because sometimes we get so in this like, oh, woe is me, or what's going wrong, or I can't figure it out.
Well, that was one of the things, like you have like a stubbornness to like I just did everything's
help.
bad.
Right.
All ideas suck. I don't want to do anything. It's all hopeless. And somehow when you're in a poor state of mind, it's like it feeds on itself, and you don't want to like get out of it. You want to stay in that. For me, I just need to chew on that and then go, oh, like that was really crazy what I just said. I need a couple hours, and then what it is I'm recognizing like that I'm in a bad spot.
Right. Yeah. So knowing that you have a problem, right, is the number 1, because then we can fix it, or we can help ourselves to move through that problem.
Okay. Should I quiz you? Number 2. What's number 2?
Number 2 is exercise. So this I'm a huge fan of. I love to exercise, and
I hate to exercise. I hate it so much, but I do it like 5 days a week because, most of it is because I don't want to get fat. But I do just feel better. You gotta like blow off some steam, and you gotta get those endorphins going, and to engage your body and feel physical makes a huge difference.
Yes. Well, Tony Robbins says, like, if you want to change your mind, you change your state. And so you've got to move your body and get things
emotion
flowing.
is energy in motion. So you got to put energy in.
And then your emotions are going to change after that. So go for a walk, do yoga, do Pilates, do a weight workout, whatever it is go for a hike. That I like to be outside a lot when I exercise, but I also like to lift heavy things. That really makes me feel good. And so those are 2 things that I like to do to help keep me in a balanced state.
Yeah. And like a quick funny story was, like we were helping at church move stuff. Church on Easter was in a different location. It gave me perspective, like everybody's moving really slow and I'm moving like really fast. Like I have to have a purpose, and it helped me go like, oh, I just operate at this speed. Like I'm just kind of crazy. Yeah. And it also felt good ego-wise a little bit. There were some guys there who couldn't lift anything. The fact that I still lift weights and have some strength, and they're younger than me, I was like, dude, you gotta like bring it back. Like you need to be a man. That's how I felt.
Well, there's this like stat. It's like if you're lifting weights and you're exercising at age 30, then you're like in the top 20% of it. I think it's 20% of the population. At 40, you're in the top 10%. And beyond that, you're like the top 1%. Like, exercise, people. It's good for you. You need it.
It preserves you, right. One. It's probably one of the best things you can do to preserve youth. And, like, there's just something about, like, just you're able to do more.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to be able to, like, move, like, not that I want to move stuff, but it's just nice to be able to, like, feel like I can, like, I have more control over the world a little bit, slightly, because I can I'm just more active. Okay. That was kind of a weird point.
Okay, number 3.
3. What is it?
I don't know if I remember.
Oh, talk to someone.
Oh, yeah. I said that to Damien the other day. I was like, you know what? We really shouldn't just talk to each other. Like, we need to talk to someone else, because you can stay, like, when you're, not that talking to a family member is bad. I think that can be beneficial depending on the person, but when you're in it together, like you're in it together, and you really could use an outside perspective. So whether it's a therapist or a friend, anybody.
I think sometimes for me though, I need to like kind of get some of it out before I go talk to somebody, and I'm just basically having a bad day.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, how do I really feel? Okay, and then I'll take that to somebody. So, but if I go to somebody with that crazy person, they're going to be like, oh, you have like major problems. And I really don't. I'm just having like a tough day.
Yeah. But talk to someone.
Talk
You've
to
got to
somebody.
get it out of your body. That's what I tell our
All right.
kids.
Check-ins daily, hourly.
So ask yourself, how am I doing today? You know, and that if you're in a really hard spot, like if you're working for someone that like you're miserable, and I think we talk about, oh, maybe that's not in here, but like one of the things was, you know, maybe your company values don't align with your values. And so every day you go to work,
that's in the other one.
You're just miserable. And so you might have to really check in with yourself every hour. I've had that situation when I worked for Blue Cross, and I hated that job. I hated it so much. And I worked in a cubicle, and I really was conscious of like, how am I going to get through my day? And so you might have to really ask yourself all the time, doing those check-ins, and how am I doing and what can I do in this moment? But you might not be able to exercise, but you can do some of these other things.
That's right. No, you can always figure out a way to exercise. There's always time.
Do some jumping back jacks in your
you
cubicle.
Yeah, like we've had like we don't belong to a gym. We have kettlebells in the garage, and you know we need to get some more stuff.
We do.
Like a cage, and we're not like machine people. But there's a lot that you can do in like 15 minutes. And for a sense of accomplishment, if you go out there, you go like, it's so easy to be like, I only have 10 minutes. I only have 15 minutes. Like, forget it.
Right.
That's not what I say, but I say another F word. And then I say but you know what? You do have some time. You still will do something. And sometimes that's all we have. But the fact that you go out there, you do it, you feel more accomplished.
Right.
You feel better about yourself psychologically. Your body feels good. You're probably getting, you know, the endorphins going, but you go like, I didn't feel like doing it, but I did it. I sucked it up. I did it. I did whatever I could in that amount of time, and now I'm going to go do something else. It does carry momentum into the next thing.
It's like sex. It's not going to be great every time, but you do it.
Well, it's not going to be great every time, especially when the kids might walk in. I'm like, oh, I saw you snuggling. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it was. That was not a good.
You can cut that out. Okay, next.
Make a to-do list.
So for some of us who are type A personalities, it's really helpful to write things down and get them out of our head. So that's one part of it. And the other part is you can cross things off. Like, that feels really good. I said this to Damien the other day. We should make some lists. And I think he rolled his eyes at me and told himself he would never make a list, but just said, just to pacify me. But that's okay.
That wasn't a to-do list. That was a what do you like to do, don't like to do list. And it just seemed like a lot of work. Okay. 7. There's 3 more. I'm going to say them all 3. So we go through them fast, and then we can kind of go on them. Do something fun. Mm-hmm. Ding. Maybe that would be cool if I had a ding. Set boundaries. Don't take on too much. And the last one is break the pattern, which you wrote can be hard depending on your personality.
Yeah, I can.
Because kind of do something fun and break the pattern can kind of go together in some ways, right? You're the monotony, you're like doing something fun that breaks you out of, you know, the monotony of your normal life. So that kind of goes together.
Yeah, and oils.
Okay.
Oils isn't listed there, but it's, that's the point.
I think these were based on other things. Okay.
We're going to talk about oils in a minute.
Yeah, we are. You know, this is a long setup to say, what did we do? Maybe I can figure out how to cut it. But okay. So, doing something fun. But you have to enjoy it. Like, I think a lot of it is like, you know, even though it's going to sound very corny and played out, that gratitude and sort of living in the moment. You don't want to be thinking about all the things that you should have done better and all the things that you have to do, you know, in the future. Like, to just enjoy, be present. Like, there is a calmness. And I think that's one of the things when you go on vacation. Yeah. Is typically you don't have like a big agenda. Right. So you're just there and you're just enjoying the moment and you're like, I got nowhere to be. So we'll just kind of roll. And not that being in Hawaii or wherever you are doesn't like help with that, but it's environment. But the fact that you're requiring yourself to do nothing other than just enjoy like your family.
Yeah.
So then you're just living in the moment, and there is a calming effect to it. So if you can do that in a micro way on a more regular basis, it would make a difference.
Yeah, or just what I really like to do is this is part of the things that we like to do, but it's just go sit outside for 10 minutes. I like to sit in the sun. So if you live in a place where maybe there's not a lot of sun, maybe you still like to be outside. But for me, the sun is healing and energizing and like restorative and life-giving. And so I'll often go sit in our backyard just for quiet in the sun. And it doesn't have to be for very long, because the self-care type of issue can kind of take on its own, it can grow legs. And so we don't need to do all the self-care things all day long, every day. Like I've done that in the past as well, but we can do these small, simple things like sitting outside, doing a meditation, or praying and listening to what, God's trying to tell you, being still and quiet. Like all of these things fall into the self-care category and don't have to take a long time. And so do applying oils.
Good segue, honey. Okay, so here are some of our favorites. This is what you've been waiting for.
You've been waiting this whole class to hear about oils.
Okay, blue tansy.
I love blue tansy.
It helps move through feelings of overwhelm and encourages feelings of confidence.
We've been doing the Blue Tansy Challenge, if you've been following us on Instagram and Facebook, and it's putting a drop of Blue Tansy on your big toe and rubbing it in every day. You can put it on other parts of your body.
Yeah, I'm doing it like over my heart.
Over your heart, your chest. So one of the ways we really like to use our oils for emotional benefit is over the heart and behind the ears and on the wrist. Blue Tansy does make you blue though, and it may stain your clothes. So be careful, or maybe put it on at night.
Or like bed. What you have to do, if you put it on like your body, like make sure you like do your due diligence and like really rub it in.
Really
if you like, I just kind of rubbed it in the other day and put on a white shirt and it came through. Actually, a combo that I like, my new thing, last few days, Blue Tansy and Passion mixed together.
Ooh. I hate Passion.
It smells really good.
I'm curious about that.
Okay. Next one, lime. Lime encourages zest for life. Like that's a fun word, zest. Like zestfully clean. Remember that one?
We are not advocates
for zest because it has
lots of toxins.
Yes. Use doTERRA bar soap.
Use doTERRA. But a zest for life. I mean, I think that's what all of us, especially as we grow older, like we want to hold on to that. We want to thrive and enjoy our life and like wake up happy.
Yeah, a good combo. Another good combo.
Yeah.
Lime and vetiver.
Oh, that is a good combination.
Yeah. Or if you want to mix it up, you could trade out vetiver for sandalwood. I've done that too.
I love sandalwood.
Both are really, really nice.
Yeah. Put a drop in your hand of each. Breathe it in over your heart. Lime, you want to be careful. It can make you photosensitive. So don't put it behind your ears. Put it under your clothing. Or that would be a great one for the diffuser. Just do equal parts.
You know what's good? So lime is an oil that's in one of the oils that's in tune.
Yeah.
And all those oils in tune are going to help you calm and focus you. So if you're looking, it's not going to be as detoxifying a citrus as a lemon or a grapefruit, tangerine. It's about half the limonene, if I'm not mistaken. But it has some other properties because all those other oils are mostly just limonene that are calming. So what you could do is, put it in your water. So you're drinking it throughout the day. It's a way to like kind of micro dose throughout the day. You're like, I'm gonna have a sip of water. It's got some lime in it. Another sip, have some lime. Like
put in some sparkling water.
Whatever it is, but like to have that just sort of constant, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I like to put it in the steamer. Lime in the steamer. So it's like chilling me out while I'm steaming the floors.
When was the last time you steamed the floors?
It's been a while. Yeah. The house cleaner does that.
Yeah. Well, does she steam it? Yeah, she does. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roman chamomile is purposed to help you feel purposeful. It's also super calming.
Yeah, I like to use it at night. I just put a little under my nose.
Yeah. It has that. It's like it's surprisingly sweet versus like maybe what you were used as like a tea.
Yes.
Yeah. But chamomile. But blue tansy's in that. Well, there's blue chamomile, but isn't blue tansy a chamomile, or is it in that family?
I'm not positive.
Maybe I'm totally off base. Oh, rose.
Rose is like the best oil of all time, of course. doTERRA's rose, you can't get any better than doTERRA's rose. It is an expensive oil though. So, if you have it, I know a lot of people don't like to use it, but I would say use it. It's going to be beneficial.
And you can get the rose touch, which is more affordable.
It is.
However, it's sourced differently.
5 milliliter is really a lot better.
Yeah, because you're going to get that Bulgarian rose
Yeah.
instead of, I think the other one is a Chinese rose.
I'm not sure.
I believe it is. Not that it's bad. It's just not quite the same.
Bulgaria is better. So what I've been doing is I have a larger bottle of jojoba. I made a eye serum using the jojoba and Immortelle and Your Palm. That's on one of the reels on Instagram not too long ago. And so I have this giant bottle of jojoba and I put 10 drops of rose in there. And so I've been using that instead of lotion every day, and I just smell like rose all day long. And so rose is for self-love, it's for feelings of confidence, and so it's just gonna be another one of those oils. It's the highest vibration of all the oils, and so it's gonna help move us out of this state of extreme stress.
I will, because I use rose sparingly, because it's like $5 a drop, I will wipe the top, and I actually just put a little under my nose, because I figure at least when I'm breathing, I have to just suck in rose constantly is not a bad idea.
Right.
All right, bergamot has the same self-love and confidence. Those are the buzzwords with bergamot, but it's obviously a citrus.
It's a citrus, but bergamot could be like a poor man's rose for these particular ailments.
But another citrus, it is photosensitive, so you just would want to make sure you don't put it
Don't put it out on you
and then go out in the sun.
No.
Another one that's probably, if you're feeling burnout, would be forgive, so you can let go of your resentment of something or someone.
Well, and what's interesting with forgive, I've said this a lot of times, probably on a lot of videos, is like when I'm under stress or have a lot of anxiety, I get shortness of breath, which that was a symptom in our burnout. And it wasn't too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, that I figured out forgive helps to take away that feeling for me. And I didn't even associate that with that oil.
Well, because it's interesting with the body is emotions and, physicalness. And that's not the right word.
Physical? What are you trying to say?
Your body emotionally and physically are connected.
Yes.
So if you have something going on physically wrong with your body, it can have a negative effect on your emotions and vice versa, and something in the middle too. It can also be totally exclusive. Like I pulled my hamstring. It's just because I pulled my hamstring.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
But it can be, so it's not coincidental that when you use forgive, that now your shortness of breath goes away because you're having these issues with forgiveness.
Right.
But not for me though, right? Because you love me all the time.
I love myself.
That's right.
Or maybe you need to forgive someone else. I said I love my spouse.
Oh, spouse. I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh.
I just couldn't hear what you said. Last one. One that you wouldn't probably think of is purify. Because purify is about purification, releasing negativity, cleansing. So I've used that one. It came up on a scan for me years ago. I was holding on to some negative emotion, and I would just put it put everything over my heart on my chest.
Yeah.
And it made a difference. And it's one of those oils that I use for an extended period of time. And I was kind of over it. But when I go through cycles where I'm feeling a little more negative, I'll bring it back into the fold, because I think we all go through patterns. There's some probably oils for everybody some go-tos. You're going to use it every day. I'm going to use my frankincense every day. I'm going to use some sort of mint every day, tree oil. But there's some other ones that I kind of mix up. And this was one that I mixed in, and then I didn't need it anymore, and it went away.
Your body moves out of that state. You don't need it so much anymore, and then...
But it's always right there in case I need them.
Yep.
So we talked a little bit about how to use them, but just to go through it real quick, obviously diffusing would be a good idea.
6 to 10 drops in a diffuser, or if you have the bubble or a diffuser that just uses the bottle, then just use the bottle.
Right. Bottoms of the feet.
Yep.
Okay.
Feet have the largest pores in the body and reflex points. So really great, easy place to put oils is just on the bottoms of the feet.
Wrists are nice. And then like we've been talking
Over
about,
the
over the
heart,
heart. This is my favorite
Under
place.
the nose,
Behind the ears. Yeah, I find myself using them more over the heart and wrists. When I have sort of my morning routine of oils, which, like frankincense under the tongue and stuff like that. But when I need like, okay, what am I going to target today? It'll be over the heart and wrists.
Yeah.
And then another idea would be to use Symphony of the Cells, the forgiveness protocol before bed, because you're putting a lot of oils on. It's great, very rejuvenating for the body. So never underestimate how supportive that Symphony of the Cells is, and in all its different protocols.
Yeah, so many different protocols, but really sometimes we fall out of the habits of things, and then we have to get back into different habits, and so. Just doing that at night, and you can even do it on yourself. You just do it on your torso, and it's just really calming, really creates a great space before you go to bed so that you can have that restorative, restful sleep. And so we definitely use those protocols a lot in our home.
One of my favorite things to do, and I wouldn't discount it, is probably wherever you have your oils, they're all in a box or they're laid out somewhere. I just go over to our oils and I stand there and I go, what do I need? I just sort of scan. I just wait for something to sort of jump out at me. And I go, it's almost like seeing an old friend. You're like, oh, yeah, that would be great. Like, hey, I remember you. And I go and use that. Maybe I did for one or two like that. So I'm not saying like you have this intuitive, your body knows, but to some extent,
but
like,
there is.
like what's wrong with that? And
what are you being drawn to today?
Right.
What does your body need today?
Right. And what's great about oils is whether it is a real or placebo effect, you will get some effect for sure. Whether it's what you need or not, but if you have a positive effect on your body, especially when we're attacking our emotions, like what is there to lose? You might as well do it.
Right.
Whether it makes you feel good literally, physically, like it's changing body chemistry, or it's just in your mind, it's still doing what it needs to do.
Its job, yeah.
And there's no side effects, so who cares?
No, and there's always a side benefit. So our son, Micah, he's 12. He was telling me the other day in the car, he's like, Mom, my favorite oil is Clary Calm. It's amazing. It does everything. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? Because Clary Calm is a hormonal balancing oil. It is a fantastic oil.
Yes.
I use it every day. Micah, we put it on him. I put it on him every night. And because he's an adolescent, he needs this balancing. And so he took it with him to winter camp, and he stepped on a thorn, or his foot was itching. And so the only oil he knew to use was Clary Calm, and he rolled it on the bottom of his foot, and his foot stopped itching. So that happens all the time, where you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna grab something, or something's going on and you use an oil and like your headache, dissipates. And so there's all of these positive side benefits that we get when we just use our oils, but we have to use them.
We do.
On a daily basis.
But that just speaks to like how complex the chemistry of essential oils are, and that's why they're so amazing, because there are the chemistry, unless you're talking about grapefruit, which is a very simple oil, just limonene, but most oils have more than one constituent, and they all work harmoniously together, and they all do their different thing, but together they're always powerful, and they're always doing something positive for your body.
Right, absolutely. So thank you for joining us on this class about how to move through burnout, and please let us know, what do you need help with? What oils are your favorites? Are you in burnout right now? How is this helpful to you?
Right, we want to keep the conversation going. Message us on however you can find this. Go on Instagram. But if you like this, subscribe, like it, and we'll be doing this every week, and then you can catch the next one.
Every Monday, continuing education here on Firefly YouTube.